Are we all there, people? I am very happy to be with you again today, and I wish those South Africans who are celebrating a long weekend very happy holidays. I hope you have a lovely time, and for those of you who are taking some time out this weekend, I really hope you take some time to practice some of these tips we are going to learn today. Why am I harping on about headlines? Well, as we have defined in previous trainings, it is really important to, your objectives are to grow your audience, to engage your audience, and monetize your audience. Now, the number one key to doing that in conjunction with fabulous images is writing great copy. Your copy should get attention, arouse curiosity, and encourage people to take action. And when people take action, it is called engagement, and that helps your reach. It helps you connect with people. It helps you understand what your audience wants, and. So it is a critical part of your social media and indeed marketing activity. When you write your subject line, point number one is that you should tell and not sell in your headlines. Tell them what's coming. Tell them what you are going to be sharing, and lead them by the hand, by the nose, whatever you'd like to lead them by, into your funnel to learn and read more. So where are we going to use this training I'm helping you with today? Everywhere that you communicate, you need writing skills. And if you don't know how to do that, you are going to miss the opportunity to engage with your online and, by the way, offline written content. This will equally apply offline to flyers, to posters, that people read the headline and then want to know more about what is coming next. So we will use this training, obviously, in your social media post. Critical for email subject lines to get people to click to open. Your blog titles. Not only should they be optimized for SEO and about content that's really critical, but using these titles will help people click through to read. Using this training, you will help people understand what's inside, and they will want to click through to read, and hence further engagement. Captions for images, often something people forget about. Giving a great caption for an image in a newsletter, in a headline, in your social media post is very important. And that is, as we've discussed before, making sure you have a connect between the caption, between the copy, and what is in the image. And of course, last but not least, and very important, is applying this training to your ad copy. You are generally allowed very little copy in an ad, and it has to work for you. So understanding what I'm going to show you here today is going to help you write fantastic ad copy. So let's move on. I'm having problems getting my slides moving on. Tip number one is keep it short. You have got limited attention span, and people are much more likely to read the first and last three words of a title. Can you believe that? And skip the middle. So why bother? Bookend your title with the most important words at each end and keep it as succinct and short as possible. It's not always easy to be compelling and specific with 6 words. So don't think you need to enforce it, but please be aware of using the first line, the first 3 words and the last 3 words, and make sure they are very clearly communicating what is coming next. Just like people scan body copy, they also scan headlines. Please be aware of this. The first 3 words and the last 3 words are important. So let's give you a little bit of insider knowledge here. The ideal length of a Facebook post is less than 40 characters. How amazing is that? And it is proven that posts with 80 characters or fewer receive a 66% higher engagement rate. But folks, if you do everything in the same format, in the same look and feel, people are going to get bored with your content. So that is why in advance of this, I have given you all the different kinds of posts to trial and test. This would be that first line of your post. Either it stands alone or it is the first line of your post so that people are encouraged to read more. And it shows you here that 80 characters or less in that first line is going to help you engage. How about Twitter? I'm just throwing this in there because this is more broadly about headlines. Obviously, you know, Twitter is 140 characters. 100 characters is the sweet spot. And shorter than 100 characters definitely gets you higher engagement. And why is that? Because if people want to retweet, you need to give them some characters to work with so they can add their own brand name, their own call to action, their own message when they are retweeting your message. So that's just a little aside for you, just to also pay attention to other platforms and what are the best practices there. Here is an interesting slide and statistics showing you what engages and what doesn't engage online. First of all, using a number is the best way you can get people to engage with a headline. And personalization is an interesting one. I have tried and tested it in the headline, and I personally, with my audience, am convinced it does not work that well. I think it's almost a bit salesy. But you need to test it. If your people are not in the social media space and getting lots of emails and lots of salesy emails, they might like to see their name in the headline, and this is obviously referring to things like email marketing. How to, interestingly, gets you a lot less engagement, whilst how to videos work extremely well. As a headline, you might want to change the how-to title, starting with a number of ways to do the following. Okay, let's go into these in a bit more detail. Using the number. Sorry, folks, I have got a problem with other slides here. I don't know what is going on with my slides on my other screen. Please just hold for me a minute. I have got a little hitch on the other computer, and I'm just quickly loading another version of this presentation that I've edited. Okay, so let's go and talk about headline numbers now. Headlines with numbers are more likely to get you twice the number of clicks. And obviously, with most content, you are looking for a click-through rate. And it is interesting to note that on top of using a number in your headline, odd numbers work even better and have an even higher engagement rate. And by the way, obscure numbers work really well. So for example, in this presentation, I would have, there are 13 tips and more to help you write better headlines. Okay, let's go and look at it's about them. It is always their question will be what's in it for me. When they are short of time, when you're sending an email into an inbox, or you are posting something that is coming into their newsfeed, that first line is going to give them an indication of what's in it for them. And if they can't immediately see that, they are not going to go to read further. Remember my 3 E's? If you make sure you engage, educate, or entertain, the chances are they are going to click through. And just a little added bit of training on this particular slide, adding a limiter is often very useful, like this. It's a one-time special offer, or only up for 3 days, or grab it while it's free. Okay. And us versus you. Personalize your content to the point where you would want the reader to really know that you understand their pain points. For example, are you the busy housewife who does not have time to bake cakes for a birthday? Are you the trendsetter with birthday parties and want to be the best dressed one in theme? Are you an executive business owner under pressure? People will immediately feel that you are talking directly to them, make a connection, and want to know more. Okay, and it's always important to help. And people often want to know right up front how you are going to help. So, for example, the best way, study less, study smart, best ways to retain more in less time. But people don't always necessarily want the best way. Sometimes they want the easiest or the quickest way. Make people understand how you are helping, but certainly, please, address their biggest challenge. If people want the best, serve the best. If they want the easiest and the quickest, serve the easiest. Let's go to the type of words you use in those presentations. And here I've got a slide for you talking about the difference between adjectives and verbs. See the difference here between better rates, fewer fees, and greater service versus earn more, i.e. better rates, save more, i.e. fewer fees, and get more, great service. Can you understand and note how the second part of the slide, earn more, save more, and get more, is going to connect more with your customer? They can immediately see what's in it for them. And if you have downloaded your worksheet, you will have this list in your worksheet. Using these power verbs are really going to help you write much more powerful headlines. I would put each word into your content calendar on a different day and try and use each word in a different post and see how they engage with your customer. Okay, adding an element of surprise. I personally love this one, especially when you find breaking news. You capture their attention and hold it with the content. You cannot open with an element of surprise and then let people down. The next image is one of my favorite little examples of this. Why should you let this little guy into your office? Anybody who's got half a heart would want to be reading more about this post, and I think it's a great example of the unexpected served up, and now I want to know more. Next, we've got exaggerate the outcome or exaggerate the quality of the content. You can either be very positive, I'm serving you the best, the biggest, the greatest, or don't be the worst, stop doing that, avoid more pain, etc. And it's very interesting to see that negative verbs and words help a great deal more, because why? People are desperately trying to avoid pain. So if you try testing the pain point and how to avoid it, you might find you've come up with some really engaging headlines. This is a tip for researching headlines that I will spend more time on because it is incredible and a lot of people don't get the gist of it. I learned this from my mentor, Sandra Krakowski, and I have got a fabulous journal that I sit and read my magazines with, and when I see headlines that resonate, that I can rewrite and use in my own content, I make a note of them in my journal. Let's look at a few examples here. Rewriting history. So how could you use that in your business? Rewrite history by dressing like Shakespeare in modern clothes. 50 real foodie experiences for the bakers, 50 great new cake experiences or great new party ideas. Discover is an incredibly powerful word. Retreat is a powerful word. Folks, remember that publications have very highly qualified and practiced journalists writing for them who have spent a lot of time learning their craft and are paid good money to put headlines on the front cover of pages that make people buy magazines. That's tip number one. Tip number two is, if you are reading the same magazines that your audience is, so cooking magazines, party magazines for the bakers, and again, the same for costume hire, golf club magazines, real estate magazines for high-end, high net worth individuals. If you start reading those magazines and use the headlines you are seeing on the covers of these pages back to them, slightly rewritten, obviously, to match your content, you're going to talk to the research and the language that the journalists have already uncovered works. Watch magazines. I will do a live broadcast for you on how I research magazines with you looking over my shoulder at the screen. Let's have a look at some other places to research copy that you can use. We've talked about pages you watch, where you save them on your insights and you watch pages. By clicking on each of these pages, you will see the post these people have used that engages. Look at the language and look at the comments. Come up with ways to use the same language. And guess what, folks? The more you do this, the more you start using that language in a very natural way. Practice, practice, practice looking for great content. Next, let's talk about researching reviews. First of all, you get reviews on your Facebook page. What are people saying you save them? What are people saying you help them with? The same is to go to your competitors and see how they are helping people, what people are highlighting in their reviews. That would be the kind of content that you would use, for example, in how would you like help with? Also, a great place to go and find content is in Amazon reviews. If you type in a keyword about your space, best birthday cakes, latest cake trends, baking tips, how to dress for success, and then you start reading things they type as reviews. Check this one. So, an eye-opening visit to a time when women and men dressed with formality and precision. So if you are doing costume hire, here is an opportunity to revisit the time when women and men dressed with formality and precision. Different activities had different clothes. Have you got a very different party going on and need very different clothes? I'm sure I'm giving you the gist of it, but there's a lot of content just by going and reading copy that is already written by people who are an ideal customer avatar. We've discussed when you use their language back to them, they will connect and resonate and think you've really got inside their heads. Another place to research copy, please make a note of this website, Add Espresso as in coffee. Here you type in keywords or a competitor, and then the niche or whatever, and you find ads. I have got an example for you, I think. Did I do one? Of how I did this. So let's go and look. I went and Googled best cake shops in the world. Okay, so I Googled my niche. I came up with this list of cake shops. I took the first one on the list and went to Google them and came up with their Twitter account. Now, what a great place to find headlines. Twitterers, people who tweet, are some of the best copywriters in the world because they are forced to stay to less than 140 characters, and there is no doubt you will find great content on a tweet. Now, check this, for example. How many donuts is acceptable to eat for breakfast? Wow. If that's not powerful, I don't know. And you will note here, I've got R&D. This is one of my favorite terms. When I coach, it's rip off and duplicate. Don't steal, but use what you find and rewrite it to search or rewrite it to help and fine-tune your own copy using these tips. The great tip here as an aside is also finding some engaging hashtags. Tuesday Thoughts, for example, is one I was not aware of. So really spend time reading between the lines. Another great place is your inbox. Which emails from people help you connect? 15 uncomfortable things that will make you more successful. The 7 power moves to impact your clients in a huge way. We talked in a previous training about creating your swipe file. This should have a page, your swipe file should have a page, email headlines titled where you copy and paste fantastic email headlines, where you can find words or phrases that you can use. I've just seen another one. Here is some unsolicited feedback. How powerful are these? I'm sure your inbox has got a whole bunch of things to help you with. Once you have written a headline, I would first of all suggest you write 5 to 10 until you become really good at this. Go back and tick these 5. Is the title clear and accurate? Is it ultra specific? Is it helpful? Is it unique or immediately interesting? Is it urgent? If you do not tick, I would say, 2 out of these 5, then you need to revisit that copy and make it better. Okay, so that's your little checklist before you send off an email, broadcast, or send your blog to print, send your blog to publish, etc. Last but not least, write the headline after you have finished the rest of your content, particularly for emails and blog posts. Finish the content, and as you write the content, make a note of some of the headlines that come into your head as you're writing and start putting a list of headlines together, even while you're writing your post and you're finding the right image for your post. What would you call the image that should be your headline? And as we have said 5 million times, it's not an exact science. You must test continuously. Okay, so let's talk about testing. Let's use a couple of formula examples that I've got for you, which you can now also test for different posts and see how they engage. The first one is try the only way to do something desirable without doing something undesirable. I have an example there for you. The only way to break through, which is desirable, without something undesirable, breaking the bank. Does that one make sense to you? Give me a thumbs up, please, if that is helpful. The next one is do something difficult in a period of time and have a positive outcome. Crush the Facebook marketing code in 3 months and get tons of leads. That is, by the way, what you're doing here in this training. Next is do something desirable like an expert without something unexpected that you don't want. DIY marketing like a pro without wasting time and money. Next, how to find blah, 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 a simple technique to ensure. How to find your ideal customer using a process to ensure you position your offer perfectly every time. Please leave me a comment if you're finding any of these difficult to interpret. Give me a few examples in the comments below and I will help you tweak and practice and get this thing working well. Right, I would like you to try asking a question in your subject line. Seeing a question mark starts to stimulate the human brain. The very sight of a question enforces the brain to want to know more. Is your marketing strategy missing a vital link? Are you struggling to get ahead with your business? You will see I use questions a great deal in my posts. Are you struggling for the right outfit? Are you struggling for a birthday party idea? Are you struggling for a good round with your golf score, etc.? Okay, this is a slide and a suggestion I would love you to try. And some of you will come up with a very formidable one-worder, I'm sure. Try using just one word. And one of my favorite is panic, question mark, or save, or playtime. Many ways to use one word, but please try it, test it in your content calendar, and let me know what gets you great results. We've already said that using a number of whatever tips helps, but data and statistics are also very, very useful because it adds to your legitimacy. It shows that you're in the know about what is happening in your space. Next, try entertaining. Use movies or song titles. The Way We Were is a great example. Combine your product or service with something unusual. Let them eat cake. And celebrity faux pas. You can Google those and very easily come up with blundering faux pas. People love it when pros make a mistake. Use it to your advantage. Pair brutal truth with your solution. And then shh and woohoo are great examples. If you refer to your worksheet, I've also given you some really bizarre examples of funny words that aren't really in the English language to use in your headlines. Please go and look at the worksheet, test them, and I need to know what's working. Let's share it to this community and help everybody shortcut the test process and be more successful. So as we discussed before, we have the number of and preferably odd and preferably obscure. So 13 reasons, 3 principles, 21 facts, etc., etc. Try again and put these into your content calendar. Come up with reasons, principles, facts, lessons, ideas, ways, secrets, tricks ways to do things. I have made a note here that I have been taught never to use things, but I use things a great deal, and I use stuff very successfully. So if it is in your language and in your DNA to come up with words like that, don't ignore them. Use them. So try being sincere. We missed you. Sorry you missed this. You can't afford not to download. We just in case. Lots of reasons to show you want to help and show you don't want people to miss out on valuable content you've shared. Eccentricity is brilliant. So my example of this is this crazy weird slide. But how green is your envy? Avo or lime? I absolutely love that. Come up. Some of you have got great personality. Russet, I know that you can come up with some really interesting quotes. Use them, girl. Here's an example of one that I particularly like from a emailer that I received. A sip of madness goes well with. This was obviously a Mad Hatter Day Tea Party theme, but I love that, a sip of madness. I think that's incredibly creative. And the next point is, don't be scared to get emotional and pull at their heartstrings. Make a connection with your audience once you know what it is that is connecting them. Motivational statements, we know, are huge. Inspire people. So, for example, don't underestimate your impact. Don't underestimate your ability to be the, what's that expression? The queen of the party. Step out of the corner. Lots of different ways, but use motivational statements to help promote your own product. It doesn't just have to be general motivational. Help it make an impact. Help them understand the impact that your service provides. Timely, I think we mentioned limited offers right at the beginning. Timely works. Announce something new and exciting. It's your last chance to claim. And you'll see these arrows here. These brackets here. Brackets really work, particularly if you're trying to maximize your 6 words or your first 3 words. Put 3 powerful words in front and then put brackets around them and put more, imply more. Okay, finally, the next slide. This is it for today. Trigger words. Try again and put these words in combination with the other words into your content calendar. The reason I'm only doing half an hour of training today is I would really like you to go and listen again with your content calendar next to you and start putting ideas into your content calendar of how to use these tips and these test ideas to help you write and test different engaging ideas. We've talked about us versus them. The best solution. There's more than you know. It's new. It's easy. You never want to suffer from, etc., etc. So, folks, please use the content in this training. Use the worksheet. Go back and listen and learn and use your content calendar. And please engage on this page. I don't hear from you guys from one week to the next. I can only assume that you are using the training, but I can't be sure. So please write great copy, engage your audience better, reach more people, and let's start making those audience pay for your services and convert money. Love having you there, Russet. I hope this was valuable. Engage with me during the week. Let me know how it goes. I'm off to Mozambique for the weekend in a classic car rally. So watch my page. I'll share some photos with you. Take lots of care. Lots of love. Cheers for now.